we're going to start. University of Bedfordshire. So, University of Bedfordshire, we're located in the south of England, southeast of England. So the journey time from Luton to central London takes about 22 minutes. So what you're getting basically is, we're not too far away from London. So you're missing out on that high costs, living cost of being in London. So just outside London, living cost goes down a bit. So which means you're benefiting from not just 22 minutes being away from London, but yet so living, the way standard of living, the cost of living is much cheaper. London Heathrow is just 35 minutes away from Luton, as you can see. So here you've got the 3 dots on there. I don't know if you can see them. So you've got Luton, right there, and then you've got Bedford, and then you've got Milton Keynes. So those are our campuses. So we've got Luton campus, we've got the Bedford campus, and then we've got the Milton Keynes campus. So Luton, we've got also the London Luton International Airport, which is just 1.5 miles, 1.7 miles from the campus, from Luton campus. You've got the direct train links from Gatwick to Luton. And we're almost 3 miles from the junctions. So if you're coming, let's say you're coming from Heathrow on a motorway, we're just 3 miles away from the junction. So you don't have to travel that much if you're coming from the motorway. Let's say you're coming by a taxi or you're getting dropped off. And we've got excellent transport links all across the UK. It's like you can see, you've got the train from Gatwick to London. We've got also other train links that can take you all over the country. All campuses on the main line or the train line as well. So you've got the one from Gatwick will take you to Luton, will take you to Bedford as well, which is some of our campuses as well. Okay. So Luton campus, so that's where we're based. All 4 of us, me and my colleagues as well, we're all based in Luton campus, which is the main campus. So if you can see, so we've got a brand new 50 million building, which it opened in October 2019. It's facility there, so we're offering all kinds STEM, technology, engineering, maths, science subjects. So it's got a 46 million new state art library of 150,000 books and journals, 530 PCs, cafe, presentation rooms, sleeping pods. I'll say functional 30 million services, social and learning spaces, and we've got almost 240 seats lecture in there as well. We also got a brand new 20 million postgraduate and continuing professional development. So we have a full library at Bedford and a newly refurbished students union as well at Bedford, one of our Bedford campuses. Okay, I don't want Lee if you want to chip in as well about the Luton campus and Bedford campus. Got anything to add on?
I think the key thing for both our campuses is they are student friendly. Later on in the presentation, we'll talk to you a lot about more than a degree. So you don't just come to the campus to study. You come to the campus to be part of the social experience, to meet your friends. We have lots of social space. We have lots of restaurants. We have lots of cafe and outlets. We have our student union bars. We have our student union restaurant as well. So you don't just come to campus to study and then leave and go home. You come to campus as part of the experience, as part of spending a day at university. So it's important that you realise that it's like a small community, as you'll see there from the pictures. The bottom left one with the table tennis, that's your student union bar. So there's table tennis, there's dance, music, lots of quiet areas for social space, meet your friends and have some fun. So don't just think of coming to university as just coming to study. It's a real vibrant social area as
Absolutely. Well. So as a student, so when I was at university, I think when I went to university, one of the first thing is, where am I going to university? What do you want to get out of university? It's just about, whether you've got your friends following are you following friends to university to do whatever? You'll be surprised. We get so many students who I want to do social science. It's up to achieve what is that you want to do later on in life. So like you were saying, your career aspirations is something that you have to look into. It's like what is that you want to achieve at the end of the day. So here at Bedfordshire, we're dedicated to providing you with the best support during your time with us. So we've got different specialist teams in the office, for example. That's why I came up with all the different colleagues here. So they all come from different teams. So they're here to support you all along your student journey. For example, we've got Richard here from admissions, so he'll be with you from all the way from application until your enrollment process. So he's involved throughout your whole process of applying in Bedfordshire. So like Lee was saying, Luton Town is packed full of cultural diversity. So it has plenty of bars, restaurants. We've got 11 screen cinema. We've got a bowling lane. We've got a shopping mall and an indoor market just 5 minutes away from the campus. So it's not far away. It's just a 10-minute walk that all this is. All the vibrant things around the campus. Okay, so that's what we have here at Bedfordshire. So going to explain all the facilities, we've got the new building. It opened in October 2019. So it's a 4-story building. It's about 6,000 square buildings in future. So we're now working on providing other core subjects that we don't currently offer at the moment. So these will include like nutrition, biochemistry. So we have chemistry, mechanical engineering as well. It also includes a new science and engineering outreach center to provide the value of science and engineering to local schools and wider Bedfordshire community. We also have flexible computer laboratories and workshops and subjects and automotive engineering, cybersecurity, robotics. So it's all going to be in this new STEM building. It's currently being used at the moment. Lee, do you have got anything to add as well? All right.
I think you covered everything there. Again, the one thing I'll just say about STEM to everybody, everything is science technology now. Everything from your mobile phone, your computer, we're using STEM now, just on Zoom. So when you think about your career, and you'll hear this a lot from all of our colleagues, think bigger. Don't think about just the course, think about everything that goes on around the course. And knowing Kenya, knowing Nairobi as I do, look around what's happening around you. If you're in Nairobi, look around the city. It's a really vibrant city. There's lots of STEM opportunities, not only in Nairobi, but in Kenya as a whole. So think about that.
Okay, thanks, Lee. So that's our brand new library as well. So it's right in the middle of the town center in Luton campus as well. 7,400 square meters of space. It's a 7-story, 7 floors up. It's got, like I was explaining at the beginning, it's over 154,000 print books and journals. It's got 916 study spaces. So you've got a mixture of group study, quiet study rooms, it's got silent rooms. We've got over 530 PCs as well, 38 lockers. So it's quite a big library. So, so 2 presentation rooms. You've got the study hubs in there. You've got the specialist IT labs. It's open 7 days a week. We've got all the other major research journal database as well online. So you can always come and study at your own time. It's open 24/7. We've got high security, 24/7 security everywhere. So you feel safe on campus, and it's quite a new building. It's really exciting. So still on the facility. So moving on to the accommodation at Luton. So accommodation costs starts from £99, ranging all the way to £158 per week. So this includes all utility bills, all your contents insurance covered in there. So it also includes the free Wi-Fi in every room, and accommodation is guaranteed for all students. You know, all students are guaranteed accommodation. First year students with about 800, I think it's 854 or 894. I can't remember exactly how many rooms with that. So you're guaranteed accommodation on campus. We've got 24-hour support and online security with CCTV. You've got 24-hour on-site laundry as well, so you can go and do your washing. And we've got an on-site gym as well in one of our Fitzroy and Wenlock courts. So those are types of accommodation that we have that you can see on our images on there.
One thing to add, re-accommodation, guys. There is cheaper accommodation in Luton. However, all the other accommodation in Luton will be plus bills. So if you are a student or you're advising a student, okay, you need to be really careful about what is all inclusive, like our accommodation, where all of the bills and everything is inclusive. And somewhere else, they might offer you a lot cheaper rate, maybe £50 a week, but then it will be plus bills. And the bills, if you're not careful, can cost you even more money. So really be careful about when you're looking at any accommodation, whether it's fully inclusive like ours or whether it's plus bills, because if it's plus bills, it will be more expensive in the long run.
Yeah. So like Lee was saying, so we've got the Fitzroy. So these are the Fitzroy and Wenlock quarters. Then Wenlock Court, it provides about 852 modern bedrooms. So it's actually 852 rooms. We've got fantastic communal recreational spaces where you can meet up with your friends. You can play, you can do whatever you want in your communal area. It's got a gym underneath at the bottom on the first floor. There's about 8 further self-catered halls of residence as well. So it's just not these ones. We've got other 8 halls of residence on campus as well, which you can also apply to and actually get accommodation to as well. Okay. So like Lee was explaining at the beginning, here at Bedfordshire, we just don't focus on just getting a degree. Come to Bedfordshire, all right, you're gonna get a degree, fantastic. But we've got more than a degree at Bedfordshire. So we've got internship programs that we actually had to we offered in the past, where before the pandemic, now because of the pandemic, we've just had to make changes in terms of placements, in terms of internship. But we had an internship program at Bedford where you could just approach us in the international office and say, right, depending on what subject area that you're studying, it could be maths, it could be physics, it could be science, it could be social sciences. You can come up to us and say, right, I want to gain some work experience. I want to go on an internship program. So we had an internship program where you can just come up to us and then we'll send you away to a company where you can get the practical experience from Bedfordshire, complete a certain amount of hours, and you can get a check from us at the end of that placement. So, but at the moment, it's still on hold because of the pandemic, but in September, we're actually going to review it and see how it goes. So we've also got sports, volunteering, societies, and more. So we've got societies based on academic subjects, common interests like culture, media, faith, and fitness. We've got volunteering opportunities to help you gain experience and confidence. That's more than a degree. At the moment, I think if you go anywhere right now, anywhere that you apply for a job, I think it's not just what you hold. It's just not the degree that you can say, right, I've got a first-class degree here. I need that job. It now takes more than a degree. You need to show that experience. You need to show an all-rounder student to show that you've done all sorts of things on your CV. So you can gain media experience in the radio. We've got a radio lab here at the University of Bedfordshire. You can actually join and go do some radio. All those students interested in presenting or the radio. So we've got journalism. We've got the Boost TV and Loud magazine that you can actually take part at Bedfordshire. And we've got the GATAC non-competitive recreational sports and activities programs. And so it's called the Bedfordshire Bulls. I think we've got about 25 teams, we've got 25 teams at Bedfordshire, all different sports that you can actually get involved in. I think they compete in a league of over 250 other universities. So make sure you come and join. You've got loads of things that you can actually do at Bedfordshire. Oh, sorry. Okay, so why choose Bedfordshire? So we've been awarded a silver in our teaching excellence framework in 2017. So those are the sort of things that you need to be looking at when you're choosing a university. Why is it that you want to go to that university? So it shows that we've got a good, excellent teaching at Bedfordshire. All our academic staff have received National Teaching Fellowship Awards for their outstanding contribution to teaching and learning. So we've been in the top 200 university under 50 years old, according to the Times Higher Education 2019. And we were top 100 university in the Guardian University Guide 2018. And 80% of our final year students are satisfied with their time at Bedfordshire, according to the National Student Survey of 2019. So these are the sort of things that make in Bedfordshire. We're improving all the time. We're improving our teaching. We're improving our resources. We're improving how our students experience here at Bedfordshire. And most of our courses are actually accredited. So you can see on the bottom, most of our courses are accredited. Let's say, for example, you want to do a psychology degree. You can see that we've got the British Psychological Society accreditation on there. So if you want to do a biomedical science, we've got the International Biomedical accreditation as well. So most of our degrees here at Bedfordshire, they are accredited. So I don't know if you've got something to add to some of my colleagues in admission, or Lee?
I think the first thing I would come back and say on that is when I talk to students, I always talk to students about if you was going to buy your first car, you wouldn't just go down the road and choose the first car you look at. You'd go down the road, you'd look at the cars, you'd look at really what you want, you'd look at what the future holds for it. You need to do that same piece of research when you're going to a university. So don't just sit there and say, oh, they're a top 50 university, I'm going to go there. Don't just sit there and go, oh, they've done really well in research, because if you're not doing research, it doesn't matter. Really focus down on the course. I mean, you spoke about the social work. We're actually #1 in the UK for social work. We're the best university in the UK for social work. We're top 20 for nursing. We are one of only 2 universities in the UK to get one of the business degrees and get that awarded. So really start to focus down on what's important to you as an individual, because not only will it help you with your future career, it will also actually help you when you come to get your visa. And that's what Twee was saying earlier. You're looking at spending a lot of money. You want to spend it wisely. So really focus down into some of these points. And if you're advising students on which university to go to, and you want to be a good and recognized advisor, these are the type of things that make a difference. These are the type of things that you should be looking at going to work for to make a difference in these people's futures. So we will help you, Asaya, myself, Richard, Twee. We'll always give you the best advice we can. But it's really about fine tuning now, especially in the market as it is today, exactly what the student is looking for.
Thank you, Lee.
Can I?
Yeah, Richard. Yeah,
can I just add to that regarding like the credibility and trying to get your visa from the UKVI? I think it's really important that you think hard about the personal statement when you initially make your application, because this is the basis of your credibility for when you get through to the interview with one of our staff, and then obviously with the possible interview with the UKVI. So think hard about the content of the course specifically, and what career plans are, specific career plans, what types of roles you're looking for. And so you can relate that to the content of the course. So look at the units, and obviously also you need to think about why you're coming to the UK rather than anywhere else, and also why you're specifically coming to the University of Bedfordshire, whether that's just the content of the course or there's other reasons for coming to the university. So I'd just like to emphasize that.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. So, Richard, I think you can add also on here. I think we've at Bedfordshire, we've got 4 faculties. So we've got the Bedfordshire Business School. We've got the Creative Arts, Technology and Science faculty. We've got the Health and Social Care faculty. Oh, sorry, the Health and Social Science faculty. And then we've got the Education and Sports faculty as well at Bedfordshire. So those are our main 4 faculties. Is that right, Richard?
That's correct. Yeah. Obviously, there's nursing, which we don't specifically deal with in international admissions, as I'm sure some of you on the webinar are aware of. So those are dealt with by our home admissions team, and applications are made through UCAS. So anything related to nursing would be dealt with by the home admissions team, but you have to apply via UCAS. And there's obviously specific requirements for that course.
All right, thank you, Richard. Okay, so at Bedfordshire, these are our fee structures. I think that's one of the most important things that you look at as an international student coming here to Bedfordshire, going international to study. What is it that you want to get from the degree? How much is the tuition fee? You know, so for undergraduate courses, it starts at 12,650 for the 2021 academic year that we're going into now. And for undergraduate BSc for foundation, 12,650 as well. Although at Bedfordshire, one of our foundation, if you may apply to us via foundation if you don't meet the entry requirements or just miss out slightly. It's not the end of the road. You can start on the foundation course and then join us later on in our first year. So we've got another partnership organization that we're working with called Homes. So we've signed it. So we formed a Bedfordshire International College with Homes. So you will be, so even if you get referred to Homes, it doesn't mean that you're not joining Bedfordshire. We still work together with Homes. So we're still going to be they're still part of Bedfordshire. For a taught master's, it's £18,000 per year. For a normal MBA, 1 year MBA, you're looking at 14,250. And for a 2-year master's course, it's 15,320. And for a 2-year MBA courses, you look at £16,000 a year. So actually one of the universities with some of the lowest tuition fees compared to other universities, which is around us, which is around London. So that's one thing that you're going to benefit from Bedfordshire. But just one thing to add on that, please know that international fee for nursing and registered nurse, adult and mental nursing, there's an additional 1,400 payable just for the provision of your placement that you're going to be attending. Okay, so it's really important. This is one thing that you're probably most looking forward to, scholarships. As a student, I think I was looking forward to scholarships when I was applying for university. So at University of Bedfordshire, we've got the automatic £1,000. So you get an automatic £1,000 via scholarship for all new international applicants. So this goes to undergraduate and postgraduate students as well. And we also have the £500 prompt payment discount for applicants who pay their if you pay your first fees in full before or by registration date. So you can get a maximum of actually £1,500 scholarship. So let's say, for example, we're going back, if your tuition fees is 12,650, if you knock away 1,500 out there, so it's quite works affordable for you. I don't know if you've got something to add, Lee, as well.
I think the key thing to add, we guarantee £1,000 vice chancellor scholarship to every student. I know from the markets, other universities will promise up to £5,000 scholarships, but that's a competition. We guarantee £1,000 to every student. So that's what makes us different from many other universities, is we will guarantee you the £1,000 scholarship for every applicant, for every student. There's no competition as there is with some universities. So just remember to keep that in mind.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you. All right, so this is more of Richard's department, entry requirements. So for entry requirements, for a normal undergraduate degree at Bedfordshire, you will need to have completed your high school education, have a pass equivalent to two UK A-level passes, and have required English language qualification. So for postgraduate, you need to have a good honours degree or equivalent qualification in appropriate subject from a recognized university or higher education institution. We also consider candidates with other relevant qualifications and individuals with appropriate work experience. You also need the required English qualification as well. So please note, some courses may require higher levels of English. Exact details are available on our website. So the examples are, for example, nursing. Am I right, Richard? So for nursing, I think you need a higher English language. So I'll let over Richard to explain that.
Yes, with nursing, you do need an IELTS of 7 in all 4 areas, unless you've got like an English GCSE equivalent. Unfortunately, we don't, the nursing department don't accept the KCSE for English or the UACE. But obviously, if you've got an IELTS of 7 in all 4 areas, that's what the nursing courses are looking for.
All right, thank you, Richard. Okay, so just to go on to what Richard was just explaining about the IELTS scores for nursing, you need an overall of 7. However, for all our normal degrees, you need an IELTS of score of 6.0 with a minimum 5.5 in each element, or you can take the Pearson tests, or if you're taking a Cambridge examination, we also accept those. Students may be exempt from the university requirement to have a formal English language qualification if they've studied for a first degree in English language medium in a majority English speaking country. Am I right, Richard?
That is depending on where the degree was taken. So there's a very restricted amount of countries that you can get an English waiver on. Kenya isn't one of those. So you do need, even if you've got a degree, an English-speaking degree from Kenya, you still need your IELTS or Pearson, or there's also Duolingo or TOEFL internet-based test. And we've also got a password test at the university that you can arrange with the English department. And you can get through that instead of IELTS as well.
All right, thank you, Richard. So here at the international office, I think all four of us here, we're based in the international office. So we have a dedicated admissions team and marketing teams within the international office. And we are here to support you with any issue related to your admission, your experience, and more. Like we've got Tui here. So she's from the international office visa compliance team. They also offer free face-to-face drop-ins, so you can also come to any students if you have any visa-related queries. So our visa advisors each have many years of experience working in to meet the UK VI requirements and supporting students with compliance. We appreciate that studying in a language that is not your native can be challenged. I'm sure you English speaking in Kenya, you're all taught in English. But we'll support you to adjust to the UK education. But it's not everyone who meets those levels. So we have also cater for those students who do not meet the requirement English level. So we also have pre-sessional English courses that we offer here at Bedfordshire if you don't meet our standard English language entry requirements. So all our English language courses are accredited by the British Council, confirming quality of our provision. We've got, so these sort of courses, the pre-sessional courses, we're going to give you skills and communication skills. So it's going to give you those skills to prepare you for a normal degree study in the following year or a few weeks after. It depends how long the pre-sessional English is for. We've got a 2-week pre-sessional English, right, Richard? And then we've got a 4-week pre-sessional English.
Yes, to get on the pre-sessional, you will need to have the IELTS UKVI test because we can't use any other, like the general test. It's got to be for UKVI purposes. So that's important if you do fail to get the requirement of IELTS 6 with 5.5 minimum in all 4 bands. So it's important to take the UKVI test.
All right, thank you. So here at Bedfordshire, we've got the student information desk. So we call it SID. So they're located all across campuses with our friendly advisors on hand to help you with all your queries. SID offers a range of services, including booking appointments with various departments, printing bank letters and more. This support service is available 24/7, where you can go log in, update inquiries, or browse through the frequently asked questions. We also have the peer-assisted learning at Bedfordshire. So this enables new students to learn from experienced students. So mostly it's for the first-year students. So you work with PAL leaders or other PAL students who offer support, practical advice and guidance to help you successfully progress to your first year. And then we also have the personal academic tutor. So when you start your course with us at Bedfordshire, you'll be assigned with your own personal academic tutor. So we'll provide you with advice and support and help achieve your ambitions to ensure that you get the most out of your studies. Okay. So that was sort of, if you've got any queries, so this is our main international email address, international@beds.ac.uk. You can also find us on Instagram, University of Bed International, or University of Bedfordshire International. Okay, so I'm just going to let Tui explain some of the visa compliance updates that she has at the moment and what sort of issues that she may have faced during, when applications are sending in their applications. Tui, up to you.
Okay, so when you apply, when a student apply to study with us, the application will go to Richard. Richard will then pass it on to me. The key area I would look at is whether the course will start within the 28 days of your visa expiry date or not. Say if you're in the UK, that's different. If you are outside the UK, we assess differently. I will look into academic progression. So let's give you a rough example. If you have done a master's degree, you don't then go and apply for a bachelor degree, because that shows you've got no academic progression. But equally, you don't go for the same level either. If you're already on a MSc, you don't do another MSc unless you have something significantly showing there is a need for it. For example, your job, your career aspirations, and all of that. We may approve, but most of the time don't go for the same level course. You need to show academic progression. Okay. Now, with academic progression, if you fail somewhere in England, you have to go home. You can't just stay in England and apply for another course and another course. That is not allowed by the Home Office. Okay, so I think that I look at is that the gap. You shouldn't have too much of a gap. Although UKVI do not clearly state how many years is actually a gap, but that's open for interpretation. They will look at the application and they can decide whether the gap is acceptable or not. At the moment at the uni, Richard would allow 7 years gaps if you are coming from Africa region, but that can change.
Yes, that's for postgraduate, yeah?
Yeah, but that can change, isn't it, Richard? At the moment, we go with the UKVI, we look at the trend. If they start rejecting our student based on too much of a gap, we will change to a shorter one. But at the moment, at the university's rule, we allow you to have up to 7 years gap.
At the moment, yes. Generally for postgraduate, it's up to 7 years, and for undergraduate, it's up to 5 years. But obviously, we look at each case on its merits, but that's the general policy.
Yeah, okay, I want to do it short. The main thing that every agent should clearly mention to the student that in no circumstances they should overstay their visa, because there is a serious breach in UKVI's rule, and regardless of how they get the advice from, the main advice from us, and this will be from the UKVI as well, never overstay your visa. That is serious breach. Apart from that, we are here to help our students, so we will work very hard to gear up with accepted rather than rejecting our students. We will look into the students' profile. We advise them how to get to the point that they should get. We look into the career prospect and the relevance between courses. And if they meet all of these requirements, that it would be a positive side of the applications. One thing that I think is very important for me to mention is that the student and agent should always give me all of the key details, such as where they've been in the UK, study before, or visit, or have any kind of immigration history with the UK. They must declare to us so we can help process application quickly. And never try to lie about. I'm sorry I have to mention this because it's really important, because the biometric never lie. Okay, so if you happen to have a visa refusal before, it's not a big deal. Just declare it. Sometimes it's not a serious one. Sometimes it can be, you can have the right to apply again as long as you can justify what happened with previous application. But the problem is that sometimes our students don't understand, and they think that UKVI don't know that they were refused before. The fingerprint that they apply when they apply, the fingerprint tell it all. So you got to refuse, so don't worry about it, declare it. So much better. We do have some very regretful incident where they don't declare, and it's caused so much trouble for the uni and for themselves as well. So that is for me. If you got any more questions after the meeting, I'm happy to answer. Before I finish with my my part, currently UKVI have got a lot of updates. Literally almost like every month they got updates. So for example, after May the 30th, they got one update, and now July the 31st, there's another update. Let me share with you the good news for our students. The latest update is that some of your student visa expire on the 31st of July. They may now be able to apply in country. If the course starting in July or August, they don't have to go home. If they can justify that, you know, how urgent they need to join the course. I'm sure the union, Richard and us can help with that aspect. So there is the positive. It could extend to September as well, but a little bit touch and go at the moment. But that is the trend that's going forward at the moment. Visa expire after the 31st of July, may be able to apply in country as well. We look into case-to-case basis. And do not afraid to check with us, because like I said, UKVI recently changing their rule quite regularly. Last week you might not meet the rule, maybe this week you meet the rule. So that is something we need to bear in mind. So that's all for me. Any question after the meeting, I'm happy to help.
Thank you, Tui. Richard, do you want to give a brief summary of the admissions process from the start, maybe till the end, and then we'll round this up?
Sure. Basically, I get a lot of emails. This is where I get most of my applications from. They can also come in online. So also like direct applications, but generally it's via email and online. And I get it from all over Africa, apart from the northeast Africa, which is dealt with by a different team. But obviously, I handle East Africa and Southern African countries. So what I look for initially is obviously an application form fully completed. Personal statements are quite important. If there's no personal statement, I will make it as part of a condition. Obviously English, if someone's already completed either an IELTS or an equivalent English language test. And obviously the qualifications are important. Qualifications may be pending, but that's not an issue, because if there's qualifications pending, it will be part of the condition to pass the degree or the KCSE or pass A levels, etc., with certain grades. And we ask for grade B for KCSE for undergraduate, and we ask for a second class for postgraduate. That's the general requirements. Obviously, if there's specialised courses, we may ask for additional documents. For example, for art courses, we'll be asking for a portfolio, which will then be considered by the faculty to approve, to progress the application. So it's basically emails, dealing with the applications, sending out conditional offers in the first instance, and that's at that stage the agent or the applicant, if it's a direct applicant, will submit the documents to meet the conditions. Once the conditions are met, then payment can be made for initial credibility interview, which is £500 to get a credibility interview. If that is successful, then we will request a bank statement and TB test if appropriate, and that will be considered by our bank statement team. So once the credibility interview has been passed and the bank statement has been checked, at that point we can issue a CAS. So then you can obviously apply for your visa. But with the pandemic, of course, the rules have been slightly more flexible. And we are currently issuing, or will be issuing, CAS letters for September intake on submission of successful bank statement and passing credibility. UK students who are based in the UK, well, international students based in the UK and have taken qualifications here, and that can apply for their Tier 4 visa from the UK, will not be required to take a credibility interview. And the other thing is July intake. We are currently waiting, I don't know if there's anyone in that position, but we're currently waiting for the go-ahead to check bank statements. But CASs can be issued on successful credibility interview and all other conditions being met. So students will be able to register prior to a CAS being issued for the July intake only, as long as all other conditions and credibility interview has been passed. I think that's all I've got to say on that. Apart from, obviously, please bear in mind that you need to prepare very well for your credibility interview. And this is where your personal statement comes in very useful, because it gives you a structure to use for any interview questions that you may get, to ensure that, or to show that you're a credible student, because that's what the UKVI will be looking for should they interview any students. And obviously with the bank statement as well, it's very important, and I'm sure the agent plays a major role in this, that the funds are all in place in a relevant, appropriate bank account, or there's a relevant sponsor letter that's been agreed by the university.
All right, thank you, Richard. So I think the most important point, the most that we got from there, if any students that's still interested in joining University of Bedfordshire, there's a £500 deposit at the moment, and that will guarantee you a credibility interview, that will guarantee you a credibility guidance. So we'll guide you along through the credibility, and then we'll support you, and then we'll get to the bank statement checking later on, and then we'll require the 50% deposit to issue your CAS. Okay. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to email me. That's my email address, isaiah.tayengwa@beds.ac.uk. If any of you want to get in touch with me, please send me an email. I'm more than happy, myself, Lee, Tue, or Richard. If I can't answer the question, I might send it to Lee. Lee might respond to you. If Lee can't answer, it might be Richard who gets back to you, or Tue. Any of us. We've got so many specialist departments at Bedfordshire, so we might be sending your application to someone else to look into it, or your query to look into it. But we'll definitely get back to you with an answer. Okay. So here at Bedfordshire, we're determined. So we're determined that you won't lose out on a great learning experience because of the challenging posed by this pandemic going on. In September, we'll offer all our students on campus teaching and activities blended with online lectures as well. So it all depends on the government advice that we're going to be getting as we go along until September. So we're planning on having as much as possible of all small group tutorials, lab work, and other classroom-based activities delivered on campus. Okay, some of our lectures will still be online, but because they will be recorded, you have the option to rewind and go back to those lectures again. The way you learn during the autumn term might be slightly different when you come in September, but that won't have changed your. This won't change our commitment to ensure that each and every one of you can succeed in your studies. Okay, so our aim is to provide you with a great learning experience. All right, so depending on what the government advice will be between now and September, we'll keep you updated. If you fill on an application for me and Lee, we look after Africa. We'll keep sending you those updates as we get them from the government. Okay, so I think that's it from us. Thank you so much for taking part today. Really appreciate it. So we'll take all the questions if anyone's got any questions that we like to ask us. So I'll pass over to you, Nisar.
So it doesn't look like we've got any questions yet. Like we said at the beginning, if you do have them, you can, well, I guess now you can unmute your mic, or you can put them in the chat box. But you've got Isaiah's email address, you know, ours as well, info@uniserveeducation.com. We're always here. We have a great relationship, so we'll definitely get your questions answered. But it doesn't look like there are any questions yet.
Excuse me.
Oh, was that one?
I have a question.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, I have a student who got an offer, but a condition was for them to pay £500 in order to attend the credibility interview. Is that really necessary?
Yes, I'll answer that. It is the current policy is to submit £500 deposit to get the credibility interview. I'm not sure, Lee, if you know whether that money is refundable if the interview is unsuccessful, but the £500 does go towards the tuition fee, so will be deducted from the balance of the tuition fee if the interview is successful.
The refunds on a case-by-case basis. To the advisors, I would say this: make sure, and we will help you. I will help you gladly. Make sure we prepare the students correctly. Okay, make sure genuine students, and they come across as genuine. Okay, we are as flexible as we can be, but obviously we want them to succeed. And for them to succeed, we have to hold the interview the same way as the UKVI would. Okay. Anybody who fails, they automatically come to me anyway, because I can then look at either a second interview, or I can then look at why do we need to give a refund. Okay. But if it's a genuine student and they come with genuine reasons and they show that they want to develop themselves, there shouldn't be a problem. Now, the reason we ask for the £500 is to show that that is a genuine student who wants to come to university. As a university, we are extremely busy now, which is good. And we want to focus on those students who want to come to university for the right reasons. So that's why we've brought in the £500 ruling. Okay. So I would say, yes, make the £500, prepare them for the interview. If you're unsure, Isaiah or I can hold some individual training on how to prepare a student. You know, what type of questions they would be asked. But it's very much about the student coming to the university for the right reasons. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.